Picture this. You're about to get married to a complete stranger, and that stranger happens to have a serious health issue that you know nothing about. How would you feel about that?
Person certainly needs to know about someone's health issue prior to marrying them
And has a right to know.
and has a right to know. Surprising them after the fact is looking for trouble.
Welcome to Cliff Alerts. Today we're going to be talking about Lifetime Network's reality-based TV series, Married at First Sight, season number 17, episode number 1.
But before we get into it, please like, share, and subscribe. Please click that notification button so you know when we upload new content. And please send us your comments. We appreciate you and thank you for your support. So here we go.
Yeah, Becca and Austin have
Yes,
matched.
both of them, I believe, are 31 years
Think so? I
old.
think that's right.
She's a wedding photographer,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe he works in sales.
Okay.
Um, Becca seems like a free spirit, and she seems like she's full of joy,
Mm-hmm.
and that's good to see.
Right, because Austin describes himself as adventurous and kind of a little quirky as well.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So I think maybe the experts who matched him, Dr. Peter, whomever, saw that as a commonality and thought that they would be, a good match.
Well, the Becca's health issue, that's a big deal. She said some days she's in bed and she's throwing up, and some days she's fine.
I don't mean to be cavalier about this, what I'm about to say, but I tell you what, doesn't seem like either the matchmaking experts and or the show producers are doing Austin any favors with this
No,
one.
they're not.
They're not, because this is something that is not fair for him not to know prior to going in, as you referenced.
This doesn't always happen. Most people sometimes they fall into sickness, but they already have a relationship going, or the person get to know the person and they're sick, but they're not married to them immediately.
Right. I don't know how that, um, I guess, variable factors into their equation. It could be, something that if he's required to be a caretaker in this particular instance as it relates to his potential spouse, then something that he would make a conscious decision to be prior to.
Fantasizing about getting married. He
Mhm,
thinks about it all the time.
mhm,
He fantasizes about what activities he and his wife are gonna do,
mhm.
and children and all this stuff.
It's definitely an unexpected, for lack of a better expression, bombshell, in terms of a revelation that could ultimately impact, in some long-term way, whether or not they do stay together.
You would think that he will want to make an informed decision
Yes, and he's
as
not
to,
being
and
allowed the
he's not
opportunity to
allowed
do
the
that.
opportunity to do that. He invited them over to his apartment.
Yeah, they kind of,
He and his roommate, I think her name is Kayla.
yes.
They made dinner and they sat down, and he was telling them that he was accepted in the Married at First Sight program, and that he's going to be married in 2 weeks. And based on the reaction of his mother,
In particular, Suzanne.
yeah, she was staring him down hard. Do you hear me?
Yeah, she was giving him, boy, have you lost your mind, look.
And then she said, "This is not a joke.
Right, this is
Marriage,
serious.
this is
And
serious."
this is serious work that's
Right.
ahead of you, and this is not to be taken lightly. You can't be cavalier about it. And if you're going to take this, atypical, unusual, or unorthodox approach to this, then you better have a full awareness as much as you can about what this is going to require of you.
And then she said something really particular. She said, "You can't go around hurting people." So I don't know if that's Austin's history,
Hmm.
but she did mention that. He's not signing up for this marriage at first sight situation at all, and neither is the father by the looks of it.
Yeah, his mother, Suzanne, in particular, left me with the impression that she is very nervous about her son getting into this.
Yes.
Very nervous.
Then they showed us Austin interacting with the other
The other,
fiancés,
yes, yes.
and they went to some place and they were hanging out drinking, and
Hmm.
as Orion started this conversation about girth, and he made a joke of it. He said when he met him he was quiet, but once he got a couple of drinks in him he starts talking a whole lot of
Truth
smack.
juice.
And
Hmm.
then they had the the bachelor party, and the
Mm-hmm.
bachelor party was filled with Shaker girls, the floor technicians, and they were doing whole lot of bits and pieces, and
Everywhere.
thinking like the church lady
Keep it
is
clean.
that thing clean? And Austin didn't want any part of it. They tried
He's
to,
smart.
yes,
And let me tell you why he's smart. Because he knows
he's
that this video is going to be seen at a later point.
he didn't want anybody
No
touching him.
pauses, yeah.
He didn't want to
Back,
touch them. He was not interested in getting a lap dance because he didn't want the cooties. That's what it,
back up off me. Back up off me, man. Live on him with dead. Don't know none of that.
but he wasn't having it. So, and I think he was the only one.
What he did was very smart.
They didn't show a whole lot of Becca having fun.
You know, it's interesting from Becca's vantage point. Here it is she is a professional wedding photographer who is used to shooting and memorializing. In most cases, should be uh, uh, you know one of the most joyous and happy occasions or events in a person's life.
Hmm.
Now it's she's going to be in front of the camera, but not behind it this time. So how
Yeah.
does she feel about that dynamic going on?
Well, I'm sure she's excited like everyone else. I imagine she is gonna be along for the ride. They had this group setting with our boy Kevin, and
Kevin Frazier is the host.
they
Yeah.
were trying to figure out or take bets on who's gonna make it or who not.
Mhm.
And personally, I think it's too early to tell so far.
Mhm.
I think the couple's got to reveal themselves. We've just seen their representatives right
Mhm.
through here,
Mhm.
so you can't really say who is or who won't. But some of the connections that the experts decided to put together seem at best iffy.
Yeah, and like I said, uh, it has been said earlier about just this whole notion of not knowing ahead of time or in advance, based on the way this process is set up, whether or not your spouse is suffering a serious health issue that, could influence your decision to stay married.
And that's the point. They put both of them in a
In
awkward
a box.
situation.
Yes, and it's not fair for him to have to make, a decision based on limited information that he has about whether or not he can be long term with his intentions and his actions and his commitment to being married.
It's just an unfortunate place that they put these two young people in.
And not only that too, but there's going to because this is all being done on camera. I would think and or feel like he might feel or have a sense of pressure to kind of stick in with her
Of
because
course.
of the circumstances
Of course.
and how
And that's
and
what
how
they're
it's presented.
hoping for.
Right, but that's
That's what they're hoping for.
yeah, but that's not the way to go about that from my end.
But in any event, we wish them both well. We
Mhm.
we we pray for her health and healing.
Yeah.
She is too entering in a stressful situation,
Mhm.
and that could impact what she's dealing with
Yes.
medically as well. That's why I don't understand why the experts decided to go with her.
Mm.
That's all we have. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. We believe that God heals, and we hope and pray as we go through this journey that she receives her healing as well. In fact, that they all do.